Hi, this is Dr. Kasia Kynes, CEO and founder of EBV Global Institute. Today we're talking about why does EBV make me feel so tired? The exhaustion from EBV is awful. It is life-altering. It is debilitating. And let me quote some of our students. I feel like I've been hit by a truck. That's a very frequent comment. Excuse me. Or I can barely drag myself out of bed and get to the kitchen, and that's all the energy I can muster. And after that, I'm totally spent for the day. So the fatigue is difficult to describe, and people that are not experiencing it can't really relate and understand what you're going through. I'm going to talk about 3 main reasons why you are so fatigued when you have EBV, and 5 kind of minor reasons depending on a person. So number 1, the biggest reason is oxidation. The virus creates massive amounts of oxidation, oxidative stress, free radical damage. This is cellular damage. It spills over into your system, and so you can be chronically fatigued. In fact, EBV can lead to chronic fatigue and chronic fatigue syndrome. And we know that even in mono, which is the acute version of EBV infection, 90% or more of people experiencing that also experience fatigue. So oxidation is the word. This is why people feel so awful. The second reason is nutritional deficiencies. What we know in medical literature is that as your nutritional status drops, the virus becomes more virulent, as medical literature says, which basically means it's more aggressive. And there are particular nutrients that have been very well studied, including selenium. If you look at medical literature, if selenium status drops, your virus becomes worse. It's very well documented. There's other nutrients, there's folate, there's coenzyme Q10, but in general, you just want to improve the quality of your foods, the resourcing, organics, fewer pesticides, produce grown in healthier soil. So the better the soil, the more nutritional uptake of nutrients into the produce that we consume. That's very well studied, nutritional deficiencies. Number 3, poor diet. Links to the other one. In a particular NF-kappa B, it's an inflammatory marker. It's a protein that we produce, and a little bit of it is important for certain functions, but too much of it causes a lot of inflammation. It's very well studied for inflammation and health risks. However, with EBV in particular, NF-kappa B is a protein that the virus uses to replicate. So the more of it you have, the more replication from the virus you can experience. So we want to curb NF-kappa B. And NF-kappa B, unfortunately, comes from diet, among other things. And there was a study on just fast food breakfast that was actually shown in medical literature to increase NF-kappa B by 150% for about 2 hours. So the message is, if you eat food that has low nutrient value and is more junky, to be blunt, then you increase your NF-kappa B, and automatically you're feeding the virus because it can reactivate more using NF-kappa B. There's 5 other reasons why you may have fatigue, chronic fatigue-like symptoms. In our community, I see a lot of adrenal insufficiency. It comes with chronic stress, and that's a long story beyond this conversation. But when adrenals are not working, especially when you're in later phases of adrenal dysfunction, you can be chronically fatigued. You just don't pick up. So that can come with the territory. Oftentimes in our community, people have chronic EBV and adrenal insufficiency, so you have stacking effect of fatigue both ways. Another reason is possibly vagus nerve. There is a hypothesis that I write about in more that claims that vagus nerve, when there is impact of the virus on it, it can actually signal to the body and slow the body down and slow the energy as well. Another factor that can contribute to your fatigue when you have EBV is Wi-Fi technology. You want to turn it down because it has really an impact on how bad your EBV can be, how detrimental it can be, how much fatigue you can have from it. So we're talking about smart meter, we're talking about boxing the routers, and not having a phone on you, not using your phone as alarm clock, all these. This is just high for technology. You have to be very aware of that. People are not aware, and this is a big issue actually in our community. Two more. One is mold. If you have mold on top of EBV, this is bad news. There may be more fatigue. So you have EBV fatigue, and on top of that, you have damage from mold cellularly, so you can have more brain fog and more fatigue. And last but not least is environmental toxins. Environmental toxins are studied to suggest that they cause reactivation of EBV, and with that, that can cause more fatigue, in particular dioxins. I talk about that a lot. Dioxins are in burning forests and fireplaces and burning wood in fireworks. So these are some of the situations where you want to remove yourself from it, walk away and be careful. But to wrap it up, the biggest factor that contributes to your fatigue, of course, is EBV reactivation, and the mechanism behind it is oxidative stress. So the best solutions for it is turn off or turn down the oxidation and provide a lot of antioxidants. You can see my trainings and my blogs on antioxidant diet for EBV. So I will also put a link to the blog on fatigue with details about why people with EBV have this chronic terrible fatigue. We're going to post it under this video. Hopefully it's helpful, and it will give you some tools so that you can feel better. Thanks.